Have you ever stood near a closed door and felt like something on the other side was standing near it too? Not moving, not knocking, just listening. At Ashcroft College, there's a door on the third floor landing that hasn't been opened in 40 years. No classroom number, no handle on the outside, just old wood and a lock that was sealed in 1986. But every night, at exactly 2:17 a.m., footsteps begin inside, pacing, stopping, waiting. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what happens when someone finally stands close enough for it to learn their name. My name is Arjun Mehra, second-year literature student at Ashcroft College. Ashcroft is 112 years old, built in 1914. 3 wings, 4 floors, 1 architectural mistake. The third floor landing. It isn't connected to any classroom corridor. It's a half-level platform between staircases, a forgotten square of cracked tiles and flickering lights. And at the back of that landing sits the door. No official record mentions the room number. Campus rumor says it was sealed after a faculty incident in 1986. Unofficial rumor says a visiting professor locked himself inside for 3 days. Security broke the door open. The room was empty, except for writing on the chalkboard his own name, written 1,247 times. He transferred universities 2 weeks later, never spoke about it. I didn't believe any of it. Until exam season, I needed quiet. The third floor landing was always empty. I sat on the cold tile floor with my notes. 2:16 a.m. The building hummed. 2:17 a.m. Step. I froze. It came from behind the door. Step, step. Measured, slow, not dragging, not limping, just pacing. Left to right, right to left, exactly 6 footsteps each way. I counted 6. Pause. 6 back, like something walking the width of the room. The door didn't shake, no shadow under it, just sound. At 2:23 a.m., it stopped, and the silence after was worse than the noise, because it felt like the footsteps had stopped directly in front of the door. The next day, I returned with a tape measure. The landing wall measured 14 feet across. If the footsteps were 6 strides each direction, each stride would be around 2 feet. That meant whatever was pacing inside matched the room's width exactly. It wasn't random. It was confined. I stood closer this time, back against the opposite wall. 2:17 a.m. The pacing started again. 6 steps. Pause. 6 back. This time I pressed my ear to the wood. The wood was cold. Too cold. The building's thermostat was set to 24 degrees Celsius, but the door felt like winter metal. And then, the footsteps stopped, directly in front of me, on the other side, and I heard something new. Breathing, slow, measured, like it had also leaned in. Listening back. The archives room closed at 8 p.m., but I had work-study access. I searched 1986 incident reports. Nothing. Until I found a maintenance log. 3rd floor room sealed per administrative directive. Exterior handle removed. Door reinforced. Chalkboard left intact. Chalkboard left intact. Why note that? I shouldn't have gone back. But curiosity is a disease in literature students. 2:17 a.m. Pacing. 6. Pause. 6. This time I stood inches from the door, close enough to feel the cold radiating from it, close enough to imagine the room beyond. Then the footsteps stopped, right in front of me. And for the first time, I heard a whisper. Not loud, not echoing, right against the wood. A single word, soft, careful, learning it. Arjun. My stomach dropped. No one else was on that floor. My ID badge was in my bag. I hadn't spoken my name aloud, but it said it, not clearly, like it was testing the sound. Arjun. Maybe someone inside? Hidden passage? Prank? I told myself that if I came back and didn't hear it again, it was stress, sleep deprivation, imagination. So I did something stupid. I said quietly, "Who's there?" Silence. Then, step. One step forward, not pacing, approaching, until something pressed against the other side of the door. The wood bowed inward slightly, just slightly, like weight leaning, and in the faintest voice, Arjun, perfectly pronounced. Fourth night. I set my phone to record at 2:16 a.m., placed it against the door, stepped back. 2:17. The pacing began. 6. Pause. 6. Then stopped. Silence. 10 seconds. 20. Then, no footsteps, no breathing. Just scratching like chalk, dragging across slate. Slow, deliberate. Writing. The sound lasted 47 seconds. I checked the timestamp. 2:19 a.m. The scratching stopped. Then one final whisper. Arjun Mehra. Full name. Clear. Calm. The next morning, frost lined the bottom of the door. In April, in a building with central heating. I touched the wood. My fingers tingled, like touching dry ice, and faintly, almost invisible, along the bottom seam, white dust, chalk dust, seeping out. By the fifth night, I realized something. The pacing was changing. First night, 6 steps each way. Second night, 6. Third night, 6. Fourth night, 6. Fifth night, 7. 7 steps. The room hadn't changed size, which meant it wasn't pacing the room anymore. It was pacing closer to the door. 2:17 a.m. 7 steps. Pause, 7 back. Then 8. The sound was closer, louder, as if the room inside was expanding, or the thing pacing was. I stood inches away again, my name carved into my thoughts. The footsteps stopped. Silence. And then, from the other side of the door, a soft knock. 3 taps, not random, not desperate, patient, and beneath the door, fresh chalk dust spilled out, forming a shape on the tile, a curved line, then another, like something was drawing from the inside. And as I watched, a single letter formed in the dust. A. The letter A in the chalk dust was still on the tile when I returned. No one had cleaned it. No one had walked over it, like the landing itself was avoiding it. 2:16 a.m. The air felt heavier than before. My breath fogged faintly. 2:17. Step. But this time it wasn't 7. It was 8. 8 steps across. Pause. 8 back. The room inside hadn't grown, but the pacing distance had. Like whatever was inside was no longer confined to the walls. Like the walls didn't matter anymore. I brought a digital thermometer. Landing temperature, 23.8 degrees Celsius. Pressed against the door, 3.1 degrees Celsius. That isn't a draft. That isn't insulation failure. That is something draining warmth. The cold wasn't passive, it felt intentional, like something conserving energy, waiting. I found the old architectural plans in the campus archive basement, original 1914 schematics. There was no classroom on that landing. The door led to a storage alcove measuring 14 feet wide, 9 feet deep, 10 feet high. A small room, one chalkboard installed in 1932. No windows, no vents, no alternate exits, nowhere to pace 8 steps. On night 7, I wasn't alone. Raya, psychology major, didn't believe me. We stood together on the landing. 2:17 a.m. The pacing began. 8 steps. Pause. 8 back. Raya grabbed my arm. You weren't exaggerating. The sound was unmistakable. Solid. Weight-bearing. Then it stopped. Directly in front of the door. Ria whispered, "Say something." I didn't. The whisper came anyway. "Arjun." Ria's grip tightened. "It knows you." Ria said something that chilled me more than the temperature. What if it isn't trapped in the room? What if it's trapped in the door? The pacing wasn't measuring space. It was measuring proximity. Each night I stood closer. Each night it paced farther. Learning distance, learning timing, learning my name. This time we placed 2 phones, one against the door, one 5 feet away. 2:17, 8 steps. Pause, 8 back. Then the scratching, longer this time, not 47 seconds, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Chalk dragging, deliberate. Ria whispered, "It's writing." When we played back the recording, the scratching was clear, but underneath it, a faint murmur, repeating syllables, testing pronunciation. Arjun, 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 like practice. The next morning, something new appeared. On the brick wall opposite the door, carved shallow into the surface. Not fresh, not old, just there. A symbol, a circle with 3 vertical lines running through it. Symmetrical, intentional, not random graffiti. I hadn't noticed it before, but now I couldn't unsee it, and something about it felt familiar. Wrongly familiar. We shouldn't have kept going back, but fear mixed with curiosity becomes obsession. 2:17 a.m. 9 steps. Pause. 9 back. The sound was louder, closer, like the door was thinner, like the room had expanded to match the landing. Then the whisper changed. It didn't say my name. It said, "Closer." Raya stepped back. I didn't. The door trembled faintly, not violently, just a subtle vibration, like breath against wood. Then, knock, knock, knock. 3 taps, same rhythm as before, patient, measured. We tested something. On night 10, I stayed at the far end of the landing, 30 feet away. 2:17. The pacing began, but only 3 steps. Pause. 3 back. It wasn't pacing the room, it was pacing me. The closer I stood, the more steps it took. The farther I moved, the shorter the pacing became. It wasn't learning the space, it was mapping my distance. We found the janitor's keyring in the maintenance office. The key didn't fit, because there was no external handle, only a reinforced lock plate. But there was a mail slot-sized ventilation slit near the bottom, sealed with a metal cover. We removed the screws. Cold air burst outward, violently. The thermometer dropped to -4.6 degrees Celsius. Inside was darkness, complete, but we could hear it breathing, slow, steady.